Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I finally have another whip and chat for you guys, hopefully, as long as I can keep it together. I'm going to go ahead and start this section while I chat with you a little bit here. This that I'm working on is Cabin by the Macneil Studio and Diamond Art Club, and it is an older kit. It came with like the original version of the toolkit and everything. So it's been interesting to work on so far. I've done one section, and this is the second section. And I'm already missing my perforated covers that I love so much. But I have one line of washi tape going along the length of the kit, and then I'm using one release paper to like move over to make a new section each time, because I didn't think that I would have enough washi tape to actually like completely fill up this kit with sections, because it's so big. It's like, I don't know, I can't, the measurements are on the other side and I've forgotten, but it's like 70 by 100 and something, I think. It's pretty big. So, yeah, I am working on this because just the other day I finally finished Stargazing by Maddie Arts, which had been a whip of mine for quite a while. And I took a break from working on that one to do drills and chills and work on all Halloween themed kits and fall kits. So it felt good to get back to that one and get it wrapped up. And it is hanging on my wall now, and it looks so good. So it was a really fun one to complete. Lots of color blocking in that one. Lots of really pretty blues and purples and pinks. Just a really fun kit. And this one is so far also really fun, but something completely different. It's back to squares, and it's, like I said, really big. So it's reminding me a little bit of Rose Library in those ways, but obviously very different subject matter and very different in color palette. And it feels very wintry, which is how I'm feeling right now, so it works. It's actually really cold in my office, and I have a blanket on my feet, and I'm wearing a hoodie, and so my nose is a little sniffly because I'm just that cold, and I'm going to try not to sniffle too much while I talk with you guys. The pen I'm using I got from my friend Katie in a D-stash, and I don't actually know who made this pen, but it's really cool. It's got like a lava lamp feature inside of it. So really neat. The multi-placer is a Diamond Art Club thin metal multi-placer. That's all I use. And the tray I'm using is from Unimade. And I didn't really have a tray that matched the colors of this artwork very well, so I just went with a Christmassy color scheme, because this kit I'm working on for the Christmas and winter season. So anyway, how have you guys been? I am sorry that it's been such a long time since I've posted regular content. I've been going through some stuff. I'll talk about some of it in this whip and chat, and then I do have a vlog that I've been on and off filming that I'm hoping to get edited and posted this week. It's kind of gonna be a mess, I think, because I stopped vlogging for a good deal of time in there, and I don't really know what all it's gonna contain, and there's just a lot of like emotional pieces to it. So and it's probably going to cover a lot of what I'm going to talk about in this whip and chat, because I'm just kind of catching you guys up on stuff that's been going on. So I am trying to think of where to start. But let's see. Today is Saturday. It's I think, 16th? Yeah. Saturday, the 16th of November already. This is crazy. And a week ago yesterday, I had to take my dog Max to the emergency vet hospital because for 4 to 5 days, he had been slowly starting to not eat. And we had been getting him to eat by, offering him tantalizing things like turkey and cheese instead of his regular food, thinking, because he does this sometimes, thinking he would just have some tummy trouble and then he'd be back to eating. But it just kept getting worse because that Friday, I woke up to him on the bed with me actually whimpering, and I've never heard him do that before. So he was in some kind of pain, and that day he didn't want to eat anything at all. I'm going to preface the rest of this by saying he's okay. He's fine. So, but I'm going to talk about, what happened. So he went to the vet hospital, and I was worried because his symptoms were so vague, and especially with animals, I feel like it's really hard to diagnose what's actually causing things like upset stomach, So they started off doing blood work, and they didn't see anything in the blood work that was super concerning. But I'm actually really good. I took him to this particular vet hospital that I'd never been to before. It was the only one that I could get an appointment at that day. And the doctor who saw him just had a feeling. She was like, this seems like it might be something called Addison's disease. I'd never heard of that. It's something that apparently dogs and humans can get, where your adrenal glands don't make enough stress hormone. And the only way to test for it, apparently, is to test the amount of that hormone that's in his blood, and then give him medication that's supposed to stimulate production of that hormone, and then test again in an hour to see if it created the right amount as it should. And of course, it's an expensive test. Why wouldn't it be? But we administered the test, and I was there for 4 hours with him. So the test is supposed to take an hour, and then I was sitting in my car waiting for them to call me because it was more private and warmer, and I could listen to my audiobook and stuff. I waited about an hour and a half. They didn't call me. So I went in and asked, okay, hey, just checking in on this test that's supposed to be, completed by now. And it wasn't for like another 45 minutes before they finally got back to me with the results. And I was getting a little nervous just because I was supposed to that night go to a concert with my dad and my daughter and her boyfriend. Obviously, if Max needed me to stay, I would have stayed and missed the concert. But I was kind of hoping we could do both because the tickets were already paid for, and I didn't want my dad to have paid for them for nothing and all that stuff. So they finally came out to talk to me, and he does indeed have Addison's disease. So basically what that means is that when he gets stressed or scared, which he does quite often because he's kind of a big scaredy cat, his body doesn't know how to produce the hormone that would help relieve that fear. And for some reason, this can also cause nausea and tummy issues and all kinds of things that he's had problems with ever since we got him. So I think he's had it for a while. And what's interesting is that he is not typically the kind of risk factor dog that would present with this disease. It's typically seen more in females who are at least 4 years old. He's 3. And he is not one of the breeds that is often associated with this disease. So the fact that the doctor could take these really vague symptoms and pinpoint this random disease so accurately, I was just really grateful, because I feel like, he's had testing before from my vet due to some of these symptoms he's had, random vomiting and stuff like that over the years that we've had him. We've had him for 2 years, and they were never able to find a reason behind these things. And I kind of feel like it was this all along. And this doctor was just the first one to figure out what was going on. So the disease is not curable, but it is treatable. And as long as it's treated, then the dog can have just a normal lifespan. Everything should be fine. They gave him a shot when he was there, like a steroid shot that he'll have to have repeated every so often. The exact frequency is something that we have to kind of play around with his vet and figure out what works for him. But then he also has to have a pill daily. So we've been giving that to him daily, and it's made a huge difference already. So the next day he didn't really want to eat in the morning, but once it got to be evening time, he was very excited to start eating again. And we were feeding him like a mixture of pumpkin and rice and chicken, because that's easier on the tummy. And he was just like almost prancing down the hall, which I've never seen him do before. So it was really cute to see him get that excited about food. He's never been that excited about food. And the steroid shot apparently does bring out the hunger symptoms more. So that's part of it. But I think also what's part of it is that just his stomach doesn't hurt anymore. Like, apparently the poor guy has been having stomach issues this whole time. So I feel really bad, but I also am really glad that it was finally figured out, because I was really worried about him. And apparently with this disease, there is the chance that if it isn't treated, like if they have an attack and it's not treated, they can die from that. It can be fatal. So very, very grateful that that was taken care of and that he's being treated and hopefully won't have issues like that in the future. We've had some issues just as he's recovering he's a long-furred dog, and so when he has to go to the bathroom and it's not regular, it kind of gets everywhere on his poor fur. So we had to shove him into the shower, which he did not like at all, because he's not used to that. He goes to the groomer every 3 months, and of course his grooming appointment was yesterday as I'm recording this, but he was having these issues on Monday, and we were not going to wait 4 or 5 days for him to not be clean back there. So it took all 3 of us, my husband, my son, and me, to like get him to go into the shower. And then my husband geared up with, yellow rubber gloves, and he was in his swimsuit giving him a good scrub down in the shower, which was barely big enough to hold both of them because Max is a Great Pyrenees, so he is quite large. He's 110 pounds, so it was a struggle. But then we got him as cleaned up as we could, and he was doing much better throughout the week with that. And then he went to the groomer yesterday and got all cleaned up and all fresh, and I brought him home, and he immediately went outside and had the problem again. So we had a clean dog for 5 minutes, and I'm just it's one of those things where if you don't laugh you'll cry kind of thing, because we had just paid for him to be groomed, and yeah, it did not last long. And I think one of the things the vet had said was to try not to stress him out, as much as possible, which most of the time he just stays home. He does not like to go on walks. He doesn't like to go away from home. He's a very fearful dog, and we slowly have worked on him. Like when we got him, he was afraid of the TV. Whenever we'd turn it on, he would freak out and run away and bark at it and stuff. And he's gotten a lot better with, certain things since we got him. But apparently just going to get groomed, even though he does really well at the groomer and he likes the groomer, he doesn't like the driving to get there. It makes him really nervous. And so I think that's why he had tummy problems after that, was because of his disease and what it does to him when he does get stressed. So I kind of took matters into my own hands, and I took some scissors and I trimmed up the fur around his back end more than the groomer had. So it looks, I am no groomer. It looks a little funny, but I wasn't going to live like that. So hopefully it'll help, and hopefully he doesn't have too many more issues like that. And he'll get back to normal with his tummy soon, poor guy. So that has taken up a lot of our mental capacity over the last week and a half with him feeling the way he's been feeling. I did manage to get to the concert that night. So my dad and Sam and Adrian and I went to see Collective Soul. And they are a band that I used to listen to when I was probably like Casey's age, like 15, 16. The album that I really liked by them that I would listen to on repeat came out in 1995. So I'd have been 14 then, I think. So you guys know how old I am. But yeah, I remember listening to that album while playing my Nintendo, like I think it was the Super Nintendo that had Tetris Attack on it and stuff. So I would come home from school, I would play Tetris Attack, and I would listen to Collective Soul because I really liked that album. So it brought back a lot of memories to hear those songs again, and it was really cool to see them in concert and to be able to share that both with my dad, who used to like them at the same time I did, and with my daughter, who didn't really grow up with them because I didn't listen to them too much around her when she was growing up. But some, So she did listen to some of their music, like leading up to the concert so that she would be familiar with it. And then my dad, after the concert, my dad lent her all of his Collective Soul CDs so that she could listen to them more if she wanted to, because she was getting kind of into them, I think. But they were really good in concert. They played a lot of their new stuff, which is kind of fun. Some of it I hadn't even heard. I honestly kind of grew out of touch with them and didn't even know that they had released an album just a couple of years ago, and they're planning to release another one next year, at the beginning of next year. And they played a few songs from those, and I kind of think I might want to listen to them because they were pretty good, those songs. They did have a problem at the concert where I think they were not mixing the sound very well, because you could hear the guitar really, really well, but the vocals were very quiet, and it was really hard to make out, the vocal line, which I think I would have been more upset if it was any other band, but for Collective Soul specifically, the guitar is almost like vocals in itself. The way the guitar is such a part of the main melody of the song, it's kind of the focus even more than the vocals, I would think. So it was okay. I just wished it was a little easier to hear the lyrics, because I do like, when I'm listening to songs, the lyrics are, usually what I focus on most. But like I said, Collective Soul is a little bit different because their guitar work is just so integral to the sound of each song. But yeah, we had a great time. That was at a casino it's a little bit far away from us, but pretty much still an easy drive. And then Sam and Adrian spent the night that night here at my house, and the next day we woke up and went to have brunch with my dad. We did go out to dinner with Casey after we got back from the concert, but that was too late for my dad to go because it was like after 11 p.m. But we were all hungry. He had eaten earlier, I think, and I had to go straight from the vet back home to meet my dad and pick him up, and then drive out to the casino. So I did not have time to eat, and I hadn't eaten anything since before I went to the vet. So by the time that we got done with the concert at like 10 or something, I hadn't eaten for, I think, 10 hours. So I was pretty hungry. And Sam and Adrian also had to leave right after Sam got off work, so they didn't have a chance to eat dinner. So that's why we went out to Denny's, because it was pretty much the only place that's open late enough around here for us to get a meal that late. And Casey couldn't go to the concert because he was not 21. He had to be 21 to go. So he went with us to dinner. So that was fun. And then we had brunch with my dad the next day before Sam and Adrian took off back home. So it was a really short visit, but it was great to have them here as always, and a really fun experience to share with them, to go see a band that I used to love, when I was growing up. I love that they're still touring and doing concerts. And they were very fun to listen to because they'd tell stories, and they played a couple songs by other bands that they thought were inspiring to them when they were younger. And so it was fun to hear all those stories and hear those songs done by them and stuff that you don't usually get to hear. So yeah, that next night, the night after the concert, I was supposed to go back to that same casino to do some gambling and have dinner with my friend Jessica because her birthday is in November, and we have just kind of a tradition where we'll go to the casino on her birthday, and then we'll go on my birthday just twice a year for fun. And I had to take a rain check because Max needed me at home. Like my husband needed me to help with Max at home, basically, because he was so still kind of sick the next day and was making messes still, and it just he needed some attention. So I was able to reschedule for Jessica for Sunday, the next day after that, because Max was feeling much better by Sunday. And also on Sunday, my sister-in-law, Katie, was planning to come over and watch some more Medium with me. It's the show we're watching together. And so I checked with Jessica, and she was fine with Katie coming with us to the casino because they've met several times before at, events at my house and stuff, and they're friends too. So, yikes, I dropped those everywhere. So the three of us decided to go to the casino after Katie and I watched Medium for a good part of the day. Then we all went and had dinner. But it was funny because we all drove there, and then when we got to the parking lot and parked, Jessica was like, okay, guys, don't laugh, but do you want to do some witchcraft with me? And we were like, what? So she pulls out this bottle of cinnamon sticks. And apparently she heard that if you take a cinnamon stick and you rub it in your hands while you think, prosperous thoughts, that it can help you win at gambling when you go to the casino, which I had never heard before, but my sister-in-law, Katie, had heard about the benefits of cinnamon, I guess. So we all did that. And we brought them into the casino with us too, because we weren't sure, we were going to eat and then we were going to probably wash our hands afterwards and stuff. And we weren't sure if washing our hands would wash away the effect. So we brought the cinnamon sticks in with us, and I had mine in my back pocket, which will be funny later. So hopefully if I remember to talk about it, stay tuned. Some of these drills are a little concave at the bottom, or my glue dot is a little bit too strong. I'm not sure which, because some of them seem to stick to my pen too much, but other ones don't seem to have that problem. Anyway, so we went in and we had a nice dinner, and then we played slots, and Katie lost all of her money quite quickly, which apparently is normal for her. But Jessica and I both came out ahead, which isn't typical. The way that I see casinos is basically they're a racket. They're there to take your money. So I don't go in thinking I'm going to make money on this. Instead I go in thinking, okay, I'm going to spend this much to play some games and it'll be fun, But this time I started with $60 and I ended up at the end of the night with $95. And then I gave $5 each to Jessica and Katie because I wanted to, pass the winnings around and stuff. But yeah, so I'd say that was, maybe a sign that we should bring cinnamon with us next time. Just can't hurt, right? But yeah, so we had a really good time, and we were there for a few hours, and then I was driving back because we all went in my car, and we were chatting and everything, and it was really rainy and really foggy on the drive back. It was nighttime, but I kept seeing something like on my windshield, like, and I couldn't tell if it was just rain or what until some lights from a car coming at us kind of lit it up from behind. And you guys will be so proud of me if you know me. I calmly said, "Okay, guys, I have to pull over." And I did that. I turned on my signal. I pulled over. It was a spider on the inside of the windshield, just crawling around, and I had no idea which way it was going to go and if it was going to get close to me. And I have been fighting arachnophobia my whole life. And in the past, if I had seen an unexpected spider that close to me, there would have been screaming. And I'm sure that my friends would not have appreciated me, just the driver, just randomly starting to scream in the middle of a drive. So I felt pretty proud of myself that I was able to calmly pull over. And then Katie came to my rescue and found a napkin and was able to reach it and take care of it for me so that we could get going again. But yeah, so that happened. Oh, so the cinnamon stick thing. A couple days later, we were doing laundry, and my husband was folding the laundry, and I came in to help fold, and a soggy, wet cinnamon stick fell out of the back pocket of my jeans because I had forgotten to take it out before I put it in the laundry. And he was like, what's that? I was like, you're gonna laugh. So I explained to him the whole witchcraft cinnamon thing. And he thought that was pretty entertaining. But yeah, it's just like this soggy stick falling out of my jeans. Not what he was expecting. What else happened recently? I had some more pet issues. So if you guys have been around a while, you'll know that I have several ball pythons. And my snake Gus was the first ball python I got. And he has this enclosure. It has like a foam background made to look like fake rock. And when he was a baby snake, like after I had first gotten him and gotten this enclosure, I thought he had escaped his enclosure one day because I came in and I could not find him in his cave or anywhere until I heard a noise. And I realized he had managed to push away this foam away from the back of the, like, aquarium glass and, like, squeeze his little body in between the foam and the glass. And he was, like, just flattened back there. I couldn't tell if he thought it was the greatest thing ever or if he needed rescuing, but I rescued him anyway. And since then, I had kind of taped up the bottom of that foam thing so that he couldn't wiggle his way in there because he kept trying to do it. And it's been a couple of years since then, but I came in to sit down and start working the other day, and I heard this weird rustling noise coming from his enclosure, and once again, I couldn't find him anywhere, and I was like, oh wait, this has happened before. I know what this is. Sure enough, he had actually climbed up on his branches that he has in his enclosure. He climbed up to the very tippy top corner of that foam thing, and he literally broke it. he broke the foam so that he could wiggle his way back behind it, and he was crammed up back there. And this time, he's a lot bigger now. So he was really like smushed up in there. And I had to take the whole top of his enclosure off so that I could try to push the foam forward, because he's got some branches in there that are kind of attached to the foam and push it up against the back. So I had to like try and push it forward enough to get my hand down in there to guide him out. And I finally got him out and was trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do to either remove this foam or close it up or what? And I had to get to work, so I was going to deal with that after work. So I was keeping an eye on him all day, and he was kind of staying away from it. Seemed like he was happy to be back in his little cave and stuff. But then my husband got home, and I went to chat with him for, I swear, like 10 minutes. And when I got back, Gus was back behind the foam again. This snake, I swear. So I was like, okay, we're not going to keep doing this. I am over it, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time figuring out how to Gus-proof this enclosure. So I just like tore out the foam background and all of his branches, because his branches, like I said, were secured into this foam and everything. So I just took it all out. Now he's a pretty bare enclosure, and it's weird to walk into my office and see it because now I can see the wall behind it, so it looks a little bit more open in here than it did before, and not quite as cozy, and it's not as aesthetic of an enclosure, but at least now he can't wiggle back behind there and get stuck, because yeah, I don't think he could get out, but so anyway, troublemaking pets, I swear. In other news, Casey has finally finished his stained glass project he was working on, which just leaves me. I am the last one to finish the stained glass projects we all started. Matt, at this point, has finished like 6 or 7 stained glass projects. He's really into it. And Casey finally finished his cool sword that he designed. It's a little crooked, but it's his first one. So I think, he'll get better if he does more. I don't know if he will do more or not, but he seemed to really be proud of himself and enjoy doing this one once he sat down and finished doing it. So he might do more. I really need to finish mine because I want to give it as a gift for Christmas. So I need to sit down and finish it. But my problem is that when I have time to do stuff, I more often want to spend it either diamond painting or drawing. And lately I've been drawing a lot more, which has been really nice actually, because I haven't been doing a lot of digital art. I don't think I've finished a digital art piece since a year ago. So it's been really nice to have that itch again to work on a digital art piece. And I started a really fun scene of this girl at a pumpkin patch, and she's getting herself some apple cider and kind of flirting and talking to the person who's selling the cider at the cider stand. And there's a little cat, and the person is sitting on a hay bale in front of the cider store, and there's a pumpkin patch behind them and an apple orchard. And so it's pretty involved and a little bit intimidating because it has the full background and lots of details and stuff, which is my favorite kind of artwork to view and look at and consume. but it's not something that I have practiced extensively, but I want to practice it more because that's the kind of artwork I want to do. So I am hoping that I can actually follow through and finish this artwork. Hey, what happened? It's still on my there. Because I really like how it's coming out. So basically what I'm doing currently is I have sketched it all up very, very roughly, and I'm going in and slowly refining the sketch in one area at a time so that hopefully I can avoid getting too overwhelmed with the fact that I have to do that for the whole picture. I can just be like, okay, right now I'm going to focus on the cat and get the cat sketched out, and I'm not going to worry about any of the rest of it. So I can just kind of focus in on that one area and avoid getting too intimidated with the fact that I have to do that for this whole thing. And like I said, you guys will probably hear some of these things twice if you watch my vlog, because I do have a session in there where I sit down and talk about a lot of this that's been going on. But I know that the people who watch my vlogs and the people who watch my WIP and chats aren't always the same crowd. So feel free to skip through some of my vlog if you do tend to watch both and are getting duplicate info. But I'll probably show some of my progress on this art piece in my vlog and everything, because that's where I put all that kind of stuff. But anyway, other than that, I have been doing a lot of distracting myself in any possible way I can. For a while there, I was watching Outlander, which I have read the first Outlander book quite a long time ago, and I had watched like the first episode of Outlander when I got it for free on like a free Showtime weekend or something like that. But I decided to watch more of it since it's on Netflix now. And I got through the whole first season and some of the second season, but I stopped there because it did get a little bit too depressing for me, a little bit too harsh and hard to watch. I might go back and watch more of it at a later date, but I'm taking a break right now. I did, however, get really into my audiobooks again, and did finish the second book of the Stormlight Archive, Words of Radiance, and now I am very, very thoroughly into the third book and excited to listen more to that. I am getting close to halfway through that already, which is good because I still have one more after this that I need to finish before we go on our trip to Utah to Dragonsteel Nexus, which is happening at the beginning of next month. So it's coming up very quickly, and that's when the fifth book is being released. So I want to be all ready to start reading that one as soon as possible. So hopefully I can blitz my way through these last two books. There's also a novella in between this book and the next book that I probably ought to read again because it's been a while. So yeah, lots of reading, lots of diamond painting, and then just work and family stuff. We are going to host Thanksgiving here at our house, and I'm very excited because Fletcher got that day off. So I'm going to be picking him up the day before, and he'll get to come to Thanksgiving. Sam and Adrian will be going up to visit their dad in Washington for Thanksgiving. Fletcher can't go because he has to work the rest of the weekend, and Sam and Adrian are going to be there like the whole weekend. So Fletcher can't go, unfortunately, but he can come visit me. So I am very much looking forward to Thanksgiving and all the yummy food. And oh, by the way, I did have my yearly doctor appointment, and they tested my A1C again for my diabetes, and it's holding steady at 5.2, which is what it was in March, and that is below the normal level, which is really good. I'm very well controlled with my diabetes, and I'm pretty proud of that because when I was diagnosed, it was at like 11.2. So in only a year's time, I think the medication really helped, and I have dropped down to normal levels. So hopefully we can maintain that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be letting myself celebrate with some really good food at Thanksgiving, for sure. So anyway, guys, I think next I'm going to do yay or nay with you guys, and then I will let you go for the week. Actually, I remembered one thing I wanted to talk about because it's been so long since I recorded a WIP and chat. I talked about last weekend, but I didn't talk about the weekend before that, which was an exciting weekend because I got to meet a friend from the diamond painting community in person. So I think I talked about it in one of my videos previously, but I got to meet Nicole from Shire Shenanigans. She has an Etsy shop, Shire Shenanigans, and is the one who created my diamond painting and Dr. Pepper name tag, which I love so much. And she does cover minders and all kinds of things like that. But her family was visiting the coast that's not too far from me, and so I drove over and met up with them for lunch one day the week before last, and it was so much fun to meet her in person. I met her and her husband, Connor, and we had a really nice meal and good conversation, and it was just so easy to talk to them, and she was exactly the person she is online. So, never let anybody tell you that online friends aren't real friends, because it's just untrue. I met my husband online, for crying out loud, but people are just people, and once you interact with someone enough, often you'll find that they're the same in person as they are in online circles. Obviously, be safe and everything if you are younger, especially. But, it's just, I feel like I love that our current technology makes it so we are not limited in friendship by where we are in the world. I just think it's kind of amazing, to be honest, that we can now just expand our pool of friends and loved ones based on shared interest and what we have in common versus just proximity. So, I don't know, it's one of the things I'm most thankful to the internet for, because I'm just not great at making friends in person. It's so much easier for me to talk to people online. And then, once we know each other, I can usually do just fine in person, but I don't know, it's just hard to meet people locally. So, yeah, that was really fun. Nicole, if you're watching this, thank you so much for letting me crash your vacation and have lunch with you guys. It was a great time, and I was very happy to be able to meet you, and hopefully we can again sometime soon. But yeah, so that said, we can go ahead and get on to yay or nay. Last time, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, the question was, do you have any paintings in a rainy day stash? Like any paintings that you're saving for a rainy day? And the yay to nay ratio was 7-5, with the yays having it this time. I was actually expecting more people to say yay to this than did. But yeah, so Hartana says, I don't have any kits set aside specifically as rainy day. Jeannie Full P says, I have 2, Rose Library and Vibrant Italy. Barbara M says, I only work on 1 kit at a time. Chaotic Bug says, nay, I don't have a stash. I found it best to only buy 1 diamond painting at a time in advance to save my money. Wow, I respect that. Couldn't be me, but I respect that. D. Stein IM says, I do have rainy day kits. They are a magical view to Christmas and bringing home the tree. These were unicorns for me as they were discontinued before I found Diamond Art Club. I love the idea of having them waiting to be completed. And as for me, I do have several kits in my rainy day stash. This was actually one of them, this kit called Cabin. So I am doing one of my rainy day kits now, but I do have several others in my rainy day stash, including Office by Sonia Stegeman, House on the Cliff by, I think, Image World. That one was one that Fletcher, my son, got me as a gift. And I don't do a lot of landscapes, but when I find a special landscape, it really, I don't know, something happens in my brain and I get really excited about it and I want to savor it. So that's one of them. And then there is the only one of my artwork that is a kit that I haven't completed yet, called A Day's Journey. That one's on my rainy day list. So yeah, I have a few. I think there's probably some I'm forgetting to mention even, but it's fun to have certain ones set aside that you know are just gonna make you happy when you do them. So that's it for last time's question. The question for this week is, would you ever go, or have you ever gone skydiving? Yay or nay? That said, guys, I think that is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me for this WIP and chat. I hope you enjoyed, and I will DAC you in the next video. Bye, everybody.